All right, here we go. Live Q&A number 1 million. No, like number 10 or something, I think, for us in the Academy. I got some great questions from you guys already, and then I pulled up some more that I thought could be beneficial. So we got 10 questions today that we're going to answer for today's live Q&A. The first one is signs of overtraining, basically, is what this person was asking about. But let me pull up their question specifically. How do you scale a workout for athletes? Oh, yeah, who has no physical limitations but has experienced burnout or emotional stress. So, burnout or emotional stress, you can look at them almost like overtraining. So somebody who overtrains, gets after it in the gym every day, 7 days a week, and all of a sudden starts to notice these kind of physiological signs like they don't want to eat, they don't want to work out, they don't want to be nice to people around them, their joints hurt, they're having trouble sleeping. All of those are signs that this athlete is overtrained. And we can kind of look at this scenario almost the same as that one. And we can apply these protocols that we would use for our overtrained athletes to these mentally just kind of burned out athletes. So if we look at those protocols, those things are things like nasal breathing only. So have them go through a workout where they are not allowed to open their mouth. When you open your mouth and you start to, it's because your carbon dioxide in your bloodstream has overtaken the amount of oxygen. So you need to balance that out. And you can keep them from creating too much waste just simply by, hey, don't go so hard that you have to start doing this. Instead, only breathe in and out of your nose. That's one way to allow the athlete to still work out while not worrying about them overtraining. Um, Another thing you can do is just get rid of the complex movements. So if there's ring muscle ups, squat snatches, squat cleans, like those types of, complex movements, handstand walks, break them down into more basic movements for the athlete so they don't have to neurologically work as hard. I remember seeing somewhere that you like 33% of your calories go to your brain and actually just thinking. So if you think about taking away that neurological piece of it, it really helps the athlete's energy levels kind of come down a little bit. So yeah, nasal breathing only, easy, not complex. Oh, and then keep it under. Another thing you can do is be like, hey, let's keep it under 7 today on the rate of perceived exertion scale. So those kind of things, just using our active recovery protocols in that moment when our athlete's feeling a little burnt out. Next one. What are subtle things you do during a class to build trust with new members without them even noticing? Heck yeah, I love this. I think it comes down to first investing into your members as if they were your best friend. So make sure you know their name, you know what they do for a living, you understand how many kids they have or don't have, all of their just kind of natural stressors that would affect them inside of the gym. Know those things. Like that's number one, is just showing that you actually care. And showing you actually care helps a lot with people who are looking to build trust, right? And then also creating notes and eye contact on these people. So making sure that you are looking at them in the eyes, you are keeping notes on them and understanding the little idiosyncrasies that these people have so that you can help adapt yourself in a way to make them feel most comfortable within your space. Um, and then also show improvement. So actually showing that these people are improving over time by keeping track of benchmarks or taking videos of movement patterns and then showing them, look at how much better you're moving now compared to before. I'll show them that this place that they're entering into is totally worth it. What I mean by that is like you don't want to go to anywhere where you don't feel respected, you don't feel cared for, and you don't feel loved. Those places you try to stay away from, but the places that you feel cared for, respected, and loved, you try to get there as much as possible. And that's the environment that we want to really create within our gym. All right, next question. How do you develop the ability to read the room and pivot a class on the fly when the energy is low? I love this. If the energy is low, I want to use games and things like that in our warm-ups to help them bring the energy up during the warm-up. If the energy maybe is a little too chaotic and they're not listening, they're kind of being crazy or whatever, I want to bring the energy down a little bit by bringing them in close and giving them a coach's eye. So what I mean by that is I'll say, hey guys, I need you all to come over here and I need you to stand right here and I need you to look at this thing as if I was your athlete and you're my coach. And now I need you guys to tell me with a thumbs up or a thumbs down if this is a good rep or not. Watch my shoulder. It needs to get back on top of my hip when I jump before I receive the bar on the shoulders. If that doesn't happen, which looks like this, then that's a no rep. And I want you guys to give me a thumbs down. So here we go. Are you ready? Now these athletes can't talk to people next to them. They have to stand in a place. They have to be looking at a thing and they're focused now. So their energy isn't all scattered around. It's coming more focused. I suggest you guys do this anytime you're coaching, honestly, not just when you're trying to bring the energy kind of down a little bit, because by having the athletes look at what you're looking at, they can try to apply that to themselves a lot easier most of the time. I hope that answered that question. Okay, next one. What's the best way to build the progression for someone who has chronic shoulder pain but still wants to develop pull-ups? Okay, so look at it in terms of just injury rehab. When we have an injury, we need to rehabilitate it in this kind of order or protocol. We have isometrics that we do first. So you want to contract the shoulder, let's say like in an external rotation. So I could put the back of my hand against a doorway and push against that doorway for 10 or 15 seconds and then relax. And then repeat again with these isometric contractions that will help kind of pull fluid and energy to the area that'll help it heal. After we get past a phase of like maybe 2 to 3 weeks of doing isometrics, we move into slow controlled eccentrics. So that would be like taking a dumbbell and holding out in front of you and slowly lowering it down in either direction, from the front to the back to the side, from overhead, all of these directions, these eccentric loading patterns done with no pain, but discomfort's okay. We just don't want to be above a 6 on the discomfort level. You don't want them like grimacing and changing movement patterns. You want to see that their movement pattern can stay the same. For example, if they were doing push-ups on rings, there's no like deviations of those patterns or faults showing up. And then you want to see that they're under a 6 on that scale. After you go through some eccentrics, some slow eccentrics, then you can go through some controlled concentrics with eccentrics, which is just tempo movement. So having them do like a 3-second slow lower on the pull-up bar with a 1-second hold in the bottom, then jumping back to the top and repeating again. Having them move through these slow controlled tempos will help build really honestly just credibility within the shoulder that it is getting better and it can start to handle the next phase, which would be more dynamic work, where now we have them try to go through these basic ranges of motion. We want to avoid what they call the jerk. So like if I were to have them do push jerks, for example, and they have that kind of that happens, or the bottom of a pull-up where they might and jerk, we want to avoid that stuff. We want to make the movements basic enough that they can move with some speed. So imagine like a strict press or maybe even a push press, for example, would be like the last step that we're doing before we get them back to full range of motion and movements. By putting them on this kind of structured protocol that they're going to move through, it really helps give them focus and helps make them feel like, yes, I'm improving, I'm working closer towards the thing I want to get. I hope that helps. All right, what do we got next? All right, is there a most underrated movement or accessory piece that should show up more in general CrossFit programming and why? Yes. Oh my gosh. Rings in general, honestly, but ring dips specifically and every part of the ring dip. If I can get my athletes to be able to hold an isometric top support, bottom support for like 15 seconds at both, wow, we've got some really good strength in those end ranges. And that means that those tendons and ligaments are going to be really strong. If I get an athlete that can do one strict ring dip, holy cow, we have a very strong upper body athlete. So I think working towards ring dips and doing them more often, you got to be careful. You can't do them every day, like maybe 2 to 3 times a week, less than 50 reps each time of working sets would be solid, solid. How do you know if your programming is working beyond PRs and attendance? What deeper signals should you watch for? Man, great question. Um, Blood work is probably number one. Go get a comprehensive metabolic panel done, and some other tests like testosterone and those types of things, and have a baseline. And then I would say every 6 months, get a new blood test. So twice a year, track those things for sure, because that's huge. Like triglyceride levels coming down, A1C levels coming down, blood pressure getting better, resting heart rate coming down, testosterone going up, estrogen going to where it needs to be for male or female, etc. Like blood work is huge. You can also take an in-body or a body fat and muscle mass test, like a DEXA scan or a hydrostatic test or an in-body like we have here. That's a great thing to track progress too. Body fat loss, basal metabolic rate, water retention, all of those things are huge. Um, what else? Pics, taking pictures of yourself from the front and from the side and doing it in the same place with the same clothes on every time. What else I write down? And measurements. So measure your arms, your chest, your quads, your legs, your hips, your butt, all of that stuff, your neck, and show progress in all of those other ways as well. All right. What's the biggest coaching mistake that actually keeps people from becoming members for life? Oh my God, what a great question. I think it's not knowing about them as a human being. So not knowing their name, not knowing what style they like to be coached, right? So like, do they like to be yelled at? Do they like to be encouraged? Do they like to be left alone? Unless it's like just, hey, here's a coaching cue and I'm moving on out of here. Um, do they want you close? Do they want you far? Like, what are the idiosyncrasies of this human being and how can I work with them best to give them the best hour of their day? But like, simple things like giving them too much too fast can really discourage them too. So like day one, they just get crushed. Day two, they get crushed. Day three, they get crushed. And you feel like you're doing a good job as a coach because they're leaving the gym super sweaty, super beat up, super tired. But really, in my opinion, you should do what Austin Begebing says and give them the tuna fish recipe. So what I mean by this is when you make a tuna fish sandwich, a lot of people put mayonnaise in their tuna fish. You can think of mayonnaise like intensity. If I put too much mayonnaise into my tuna fish and I mix it up, I can't take the mayonnaise out once it's in there. So once we crush these people with these workouts, we can't take that back. They're crushed and they might run for the hills because they're like, this is not what my body can handle. And they're right. But what they're not right about is yet. Their body can't handle it yet. We need to progressively load them to get to that spot. So by making sure that they leave every day with this in their head, I could have done more. If they can leave every day going, man, I probably could have done some more. I wish they'll let me do some more. Great. We can always add more mayonnaise in at a time, but we can't take it out once it's been added in. So giving them too much too fast, not knowing their coaching style and just not investing to them as people, like knowing their names is huge, is huge. All right, next one. What systems can a coach implement to help retain members if the gym does not have a formal retention plan? Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Um, a lot of gyms may not seem like they have a retention plan too, unless you ask. So make sure you ask first and find out what is the retention plan. Like, for example, I reach out to our members every week that haven't been there in over 2 weeks. We used to do over a week, but that was like people go on vacations and things happen. It's fine. But 2 weeks, if they haven't been there, I'm reaching out to them personally and asking them what's up. We also do benchmarks. And so every year we have June, September, February, and November, where we show them through these series of benchmark workouts where they're at, if they're getting better, if they're getting worse, what do they need to improve on, what do they need to continue to crush. All of those things go into showing them that coming here for an hour a day is totally worth your time. And I think that's the most important thing to show as a coach is that, hey, being here for an hour is not only worth your time, but it's like what you look forward to every day. So if I could take a step back and be like, don't forget about names, don't forget about, these people's idiosyncrasies and those types of things. And caring about them actually getting better and showing them that they're getting better is like the best retention tool you can have, because If I'm showing up to a gym every day and I'm getting results, I'm going to keep going, you know? And so it's like really important that we show that we care and that we show that they're getting results. All right, two more questions. How do you coach athletes who are high performers physically, but struggle with ego or humility in the gym? um, this question comes up at every level two I've ever done, which is hundreds at this point. And almost all of the level ones as well. At some point, this comes up of like, basically, I've got this guy in my gym or this girl in my gym that don't listen to me and always push the weights too heavy, do the reps too much, or push the skill too hard for what they're capable of doing because they're chasing the RX on the board. Bottom line, this is our fault as coaches in not doing a good enough job layering in the progressions of the movements, stimulus progressions too. So what I mean by this is you might have a layered progression for a clean, for example, where you have them do get in their setup position is layered is progression number one. Then deadlift to mid thigh is progression number two. Then deadlift and shrug is progression number three. Muscle clean is progression number four. Power clean is progression number five. Let's say that that's your progression that you wrote down on your lesson plan the night before, because we lesson plan the night before, right, coaches? Um, and that's what you're going to do with them. You're missing a critical piece of this. If you let them go right now, go, okay, go ahead and warm up to the weights that you think you want to use for the workout today, you're screwed. That's free range. If you've got a group of people you know that are have humility and are humble and will listen to you, and you can come up to them and be like, hey, take 20 pounds off, that's too heavy, and they're like, cool, sounds good, then you can say, go ahead and warm up your weights. But if you got one person in that class that you're nervous about, here's what you do instead. You go through that layered progression. Now they're doing power cleans. Here's what you say. All right, add a light weight on the bar. We're going to do 5 reps touch and go, and it's going to look like this. And I like to use what we call library lifting until we get to the weight that we're using. This shows control of the bar. What is library lifting? If I'm doing a clean and I do my first power clean, I stand up. On the next go by the coach, so I'd be like, ready and go. You're going to go down, tap the ground, and come right back up into that catch position. On the next go, tap the ground, right back up. But when you tap the ground, the gym should be silent. It shouldn't be bang, 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 bang. All of these weights hitting the ground because they don't have control of them as they go down. But because they're controlling the weight on the way down and they're hitting the number of reps that you said to do, they should have good points of performance and they should still be in the stimulus of the loading that you're looking for. Then you say, if everybody's moving at the speed you wanted to see, everybody had the mechanics that you wanted. All right, guys, again, let's add some more weight. We're going to do that again. 5 reps unbroken on me. Go ahead and add weight. They add weight. Again, you guys, library lifting, 5 reps unbroken. Ready and go. Boom, they pause, they come up, ready and go. They tap and go. Don't tell them to do 5 on their own yet. They're still doing 1 at a time on you. This allows you to call out those people that have a rounded back. It's getting a little too heavy for them. And you could be like at the end of that layered progression right there, where that athlete was starting to bend their arms, round their back, look like crap because it's too heavy for them. You could say, hey, that's a little too heavy. We need to bring it down. We're still at our warm up sets and it looks like you're at your workout weight. Then they're left with the decision of, damn, I have been told specifically amongst a group of people to do a thing. If I don't do that thing right now, I am purposefully disobeying this person and I'm going to look like a total jerk. And if they want to do that and they're still going like, no, I'm going to keep going, they actually don't understand what CrossFit is. CrossFit is a place that you come to be coached on standards to make sure that you're safe and that you get fit. You can do that if you would like in your garage. You can go heavy, round your back, pull, but in this gym, this is how we roll. And you have to create that culture through coaching, layered progressions that include also stimulus, not just the movement itself. I hope that helps. Last question. 10, I'm going to keep it to 10 questions each time. I kind of like this. What's the best way for a coach to build personal income and impact without opening a gym or going online? Dude, let's freaking go. This is what we need as affiliate owners, are coaches that want to ask these questions right here. When you allow yourself, and I say allow yourself because a lot of coaches don't take the personal, what's the word I'm looking for? Accountability to become an expert in their field. Look around your gym at the coaches that you have. What are they experts in? We're all CrossFit coaches, but everybody will have an area or subject matter that they're really excited about and they love to work on, whether that's nutrition, mobility, um, aging athletes, kids, preteens. Get certificates and certifications in one of those areas, not all of them, one of them, and become an expert in your gym at that one thing. Then take on clients or create a group class on that one thing. For example, you've got a group of coaches. One of them is a weightlifter, one of them's a nutrition coach, and then you've got you and you've got the owner. The owner is doing owner things. The weightlifting coach is doing weightlifting things, and the nutrition coach is doing nutrition things. What is missing in your gym? Mobility is missing. Accountability is missing. Gymnastics movements are missing. If you can get certified and become the expert in one of those areas, now all of a sudden, every other Sunday, you have a gymnastics class that's got 20 people in it. Now, once you become the expert, you negotiate with the owner on a split of those proceeds. So, depending on the owner, will depend on what this looks like. What we do at Coast Range is it goes anywhere from, if you create your specialty like weightlifting class, you get anywhere from 60% of all memberships that come into that class to 80%. The way that we structure that is based on your level of expertise in that area. So if you have like one USAW, weightlifting level 1 certificate and you're opening up your class, you're going to get 60% because you got one certificate. Yes, you're an more things than most people in that area, but you're not an expert. An expert would be like 80%, meaning I have a USAW1. I also have a mobility certification that deals with weightlifting specifically and how to work on that. And I know how to fuel this stuff nutrition wise, etc. Now, wow, you are a force to be reckoned with. And I will definitely give you 80% because you'll probably get at least 20 more people to come in and join that based off of your expertise. And do that. Oh my God. That is the only way you can actually have a salary coach in your gym, unless you happen to live in an area where the rent is so low, they're still charging the same prices as everywhere else, and their overhead is like nothing. So they're making insane profits, which most gyms aren't. You have to add a specialty like this. Like in our gym, for example, we've got coaches that do nutrition, we've got coaches that do mobility, we got coaches that do sports performance training for our kids and our preteens and those types of stuff. I'm in charge of our neurological division. So anybody that comes with traumatic brain injuries and Parkinson's, dementia, stroke, all of those things are going to go to me, right? So that's where I make most of my income, is on that class. So create a subject matter expert class and get certified and get certifications in that area. All right. Thank you for joining me for this live Q&A, coaches and athletes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any other questions for me, just drop them in the comments below. And check us out on Skool, you guys. That's Skool, and search The Academy by Wes Pyatt on Skool. There's a 7-day free trial on there for you guys to check out. We've got everything from a community of coaches that are also going back and forth and sharing best practices, to an actual curriculum that is meant to give you the basics of what you need to know as a coach in order to actually affect people inside of the gym. So these are the things that I saw as a level 1 and level 2 seminar staff member at our seminars. People weren't able to do these things that I created this course about. And I want people to be able to show up to these level 1s, level 2s with a little bit of a head start. So if you're somebody that's going to do your level 1 or your level 2, or you've already done them and you're looking to fill in those gaps and maybe some information that you forgot, join the Academy today. All right, guys, take it easy, and I'll see you on the next Q&A.